Cheers, everyone. Good morning. Coffee time. Mildly warm coffee time. What? There's a SpaceX launch? Let's all watch the launch rather than watching this. My garage door is a bit noisy this morning. I haven't put all of the things in to stop it from shaking since the Juki came, because I can't get into that corner properly and climb up to do it. So, party at the Juki. Woo! That's going to frustrate me, that noise. I should have fixed it. It's cold milk time here. Soon we'll join the wife and cat in bed. But cold milk? I thought you do warm milk before you go to bed. It helps you sleep. Cold milk? Ugh. I mean, I like cold milk, but not for bed. So how's everyone doing? I'm knackered. To say I've had a full-on week, it would be an understatement. I stood in front of the Juki for over 12 hours yesterday, straight. Big day. It's been a big week. Hey Austin, you are a busy man with lots of projects going on. You are talking about yourself, right? It's not every second day SpaceX launch. It feels like it sometimes. A lot of launches, but good on them. Did I hear correctly that they've successfully relaunched a Falcon 9, like the stage 1, 200 times now? That can't be right. One of the rockets? I don't know, I heard something. Yeah, my back's sore. My legs and my back are sore, I have to say. I wear rocker shoes, which helps. I don't wear it for my back, I wear it for my... I've got a bung left toe. Let's see if the logo... Oh, hang on, Michael, it crashed. I thought I fixed it. Oh, hang on. 1 second. One sec. Oh. One moment. I think it looks like I forgot to install something. It's installing, go, go, go. Let's try this again. Try again, Michael. I thought I did. There was something I missed out. What? Hang on. What framework doesn't have... Module async IO has an attribute coroutine. Did you mean coroutines? It looks like the HB MQTT is not compatible with Python 11. Oh, no way.
Cian, chatbot has disconnected.
Yes, I know it's disconnected. Thank you. I know, that was me disconnecting it. Doofus. Oh no. No. Wow. So I need to change. I need to change my MQTT library to something else. It's not compatible with Python 11. Oh, I thought I fixed it all. I thought I'd fix it all. No, it doesn't work, folks. Doesn't work. It's MQTT is now broken. I need to move to a different version or something. It's always something.
Unexpected Maker
Oh.
says hello.
Oh, wait. That was delayed, but that worked, maybe. Okay, maybe it's working, but it's just every time there's an error. Python's like the new Perl. Well, I don't know if it works. It was really delayed, and
Alan Madsen says hello.
yeah, really delayed. Maybe it's going to work. Try the logo again, Michael. It's not Python that's broken. It's one of the decorators in HB MQTT. The decorator. It looks like the name's changed or something.
Collinator says get to the Juki.
So it is talking. It's really delayed. So obviously, yeah, I don't know why. Oh well. So okay, let's stop being distracted by that.
Speaker Tony Mill says bork it real good.
Says what? Oh, bork it real good. Okay, I'm turning that down a little bit. It's a bit loud. Okay. What should we talk about? Let's say hi to folks in the chat first. Let's get that underway. So, oh, excuse me. Still got a lingering cough. There was I missed some chat. Okay, Jeremy. Good morning. Rat Madness. Hello, Antonio. Alan. Hubba Bubba. No, Habba Bu. Oh my gosh.
Deefshuka00 says hihi.
Okay, Mike. Hello. Finally got a machine that I have a machine that works. Yes. Graham. Good morning. Andy Callaway. Hello. Rob E. Evening. Michael. Good morning. Johnny. Hello. Moo. David Essa. Hi. Dave Harris. Hello. Sunny to Scotland. No such thing. Don't believe you. There's no sun in Scotland. I've been there. I know. Oh, crapped again. Well, now I've lost my Paul. Hello. Rota. Hello, Rota. Ray. Good morning. Christian. Sid. Hello. Scrollies. Excuse me. Alan. Good morning. Simon. Hello. Say hi to Christian. Losing my mind. Austin, hi. Richard Fry, hello Richard. Marios to Liquid, hi. Jerry, hello Jerry. Reed, hi. Rex, morning. Mr. England. Emery, hello. Zabir. Mike Stegan, hello. Still scrolling. Andy Day, hi. Yumbo Prime, hello. Death Shaker. It's been a while, Death Shaker, I think. Okay, no, I've lost where I'm up to. Dave Paul Jones, hello. X Micron, Scoopy, Scoppy, not Scoopy. Ian, Scott Johnson, good morning. Collinator, hi. Have I missed anyone? Eric, hello. The problem is, so YouTube gives me that, but the list changes order all the time, and so I can't just go through the list because it keeps. Yeah, it's really frustrating. Andy Mouse, Andy Mouse, Squeak, hello. I'm sorry if I've forgotten anyone or if I've missed anyone. I apologise. Franco, hello. Okay, I think I've got everyone. So it looks like the logo part isn't working, but maybe the talking part is, but it's massively delayed. Oh, look, I'll get it fixed for next stream, maybe. I hope so. Yeah, coffee time, cold coffee time now. To be fair, I've been at work since 5:30 this morning, and I got this on the way in, so it's rather cold by now. So I know none of you really care much about the Juki, so we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk... No, I'm just kidding. The Juki is in. I took a whole bunch of footage. I've copied it all to my machine, and it's just sitting there. I haven't started editing. I'm going to do a commissioning video, and I just haven't started yet. I'm sorry. My focus right now is to get all my products manufacturable again, and that's going to take me a very, very long time, unfortunately, because there's a lot of products. Like, I need to get everything on this machine. So, like, I've got boards, obscure things that I only make, I only might make them 4 times a year, like a couple of hundred 4 times a year. I need to get everything on this machine because I can't manufacture. Well, there are a few boards I can manufacture now that I've got going, and then so one of them obviously is my first panel of my Nano S3 boards, which is pretty exciting. I have no idea if they work. I mean, it should work because my prototype worked, and this is the same as my prototype, but we'll have a look at those in a second. And I've done something. I've moved my DSLR camera that was attached to the back of my desk over there. I've actually moved it to the front of my desk over here, so it's kind of on a bit of an angle. But what it means is, excuse me, I can actually now, I'll show you that. So I've got it in front of me, and I can't really zoom out much more. Oh, I can a little bit. Okay. That's very contrasty. But yeah, anyway, I've got that here, and I've got what I hope is the right test jig. I haven't turned it on yet. Here, to be able to test them. My aim in this stream is to pull them apart, or pull at least one of them off, and get it working, and make sure it works okay before I do a larger run. But this was built on the Juki. When am I going to build my own multi-layered PCB etching plant? Never, Colinator, never. It's one thing I will absolutely never, ever, 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 ever do. It's just, making PCBs is a chemical nightmare. I'm just not interested. I mean, the size of facility you need and the amount of equipment you need and all that type of stuff, not really different to the manufacturing plant of chips. I'm not doing it. It's not on my radar. And there's just so many options for PCBs now, in all varying prices and qualities. Hello Ryan, hey Deshipu, hey Matt. Same board plus good config plus new line equals new config. Wait, what? Who? Wait. Plus good config plus... I hope not. I hope the board specs haven't changed because I built it on the Juki. I can etch a board, but I don't understand how they plate bias. Yeah, it's not just a matter of etching. It's like doing a finished quality PCB. It's got like, I don't know how many steps? 20 steps, 30 steps? It'd be crazy. Might as well mine all metals as well. What? Metals? What? What are you talking about? Oh, might as well mine all the metals as well. That's right. I'm going to I'm going to purify all the metals. No, I'm not making PCBs. Not interested at all. No, it's a messy, messy business. Yeah. Apologize still about my cough. I'm all over the place. Honestly, I've been not sleeping a lot. I've been here really early most days. Well, I'm going to say thanks, Alan, now, even though the voice hasn't happened yet. So the machine is in. It's pretty exciting, but there's just a huge amount of work. No sleep, more science. I wouldn't call commissioning a pick and place machine science. It's tedious. My cousin sent me in the ER today, but I was fine and sent me home and said, get back to work. Really? I'm fine. It's just a lingering cough, which is really frustrating. For another reason, my PLC Python trying to these boards on my Mac M2 won't work. They build but don't work. I'm an idiot. But
Alan Madsen says congratulations on the new pick and place machine.
Thank you. I mean, that delay is too much. Maybe we're just going to stop. I'm just going to turn this off. Sorry. We can't change the logo, and the voice is so delayed that it's just... No, I've turned it off. Sorry, folks. Still no logo or anything. No logo, no talking today. I mean, no. Me talking, not you talking. By the way, I should also say that this was not my first thing I built on the Juki. This is just my first Nano S3s. I actually have built a couple of panels of Tiny Picos. So my Tiny Pico V3 was my very first boards I built on the Juki, and I did that on day 2. Day 2. So first day the guys were here setting the machine up. The second day they were here tweaking stuff and getting my line back in place and everything. And while they were doing that, I decided to paste up some boards and pick and place some boards. And I did 2 panels, and let me just say I got a whole bunch of the parts rotated the wrong way on the first panel through some slightly incorrect information about the way the back feeders work, and so I had to hand rotate all of the large components. It's only 3 parts per board on the first panel, so 60 parts I had to pick up and rotate. And unfortunately, because of that, I've actually got some boards that are going to need to be fixed. And that's a good thing, and I'll tell you why. So, oh my god, I'm all over the place. And how is Yaz? Yaz is okay. She seems to have recovered, and her headaches have subsided, which is good. What about the laser thing behind me? Says Andy Calloway. Or I can turn that on, but you won't be able to communicate with that either. It's MQTT that's broken. So you send a message, and MQT can't broadcast it out. So it's busted. There should be an IE standard for the rotations. Well, the Juki does it a bit differently. Video, it didn't happen. The picking in place on the Juki. I've got plenty of video. Don't worry. I've taken lots of video, including things going wrong. Wait, I'm having trouble talking and reading at the same time. So the Juki has... I'm using fixed feeders on the Juki. That means you grab your feeders and you connect them to the front, or you connect them to the back. But the Juki is designed to use trolleys, like a lot of the high-end machines are, where you have a trolley that you put all your feeders on for a particular job, and you plug the trolley in, and then you take the trolley out. And the Juki is designed that if you take a trolley from the front and you move it to the back, you don't have to change your pick orientation, your placement orientations, because the machine compensates for the front and the back, right? So you can plug at the front, you can plug at the back, and if it's supposed to place it at 45 degrees, it still picks the part and places it at 45 degrees. The problem with that is that when you set it up, you got to look at the orientation of the part in the tape, right? Because every part will be different. You know, pin 1, let's say it's a pin 1, could be on, in the tape in any one of the 4 corners of orientation. So you need to look inside the tape to see where it starts rotation, and then you need to work out what rotation you need to put on the board. Now, if all my feeders were at the front, that would have been easy, but because they were at the back, and the back is compensated for the front, and I didn't realize, then the values I was seeing for what they were at and placing them were flipped 180 without me realizing. So I thought I'd set up all the feeders at the back with the orientations correctly, but every place from the back was flipped 180. Now, things like buttons and stuff that I have at the back, that wouldn't have been a problem. And had I have had the trolleys, I would have known this, because the machine tells me when you switch the trolley around that it's compensating, right? But I didn't realize this, and to be honest, I didn't give the guys a chance to teach me. So I've still had almost no training. That's a lie. Like, we did stacks of training yesterday, but not the usual training on the machine that you'd expect to give someone who's never used a Juki before and that's kind of newish to pick and placing, right? I was already setting up my projects before my machine came. And as soon as my machine was powered up and I could shove the guys out the way while they were doing other stuff, I was already jumping in, getting stuff ready, because for me, I wanted to pick and place as quick as possible. And by doing that, I gave them no chance to tell me anything about the machine, right? So when I asked about the back and the answer they gave me, I misunderstood the answer. Like, they said it's compensated, and so my assumption was that what it showed me as a value was compensated, and it's not. You do it for the front and it automatically works on the back. I assumed that the back was compensated, so I set it for the back, which I shouldn't have. Anyway, long story, won't do that again. So my first panel had some flipped things. My second panel, no problem. And let me say, people have been asking, is it fast? Well, maybe. First and foremost, it is, oh my God, deadly accurate. It is just insane that I shouldn't be surprised. Like, it blows my mind that I'm impressed that the pick and place machine, hey Quixotic, your talking's not working this week. MQTT is broken. I shouldn't be surprised that a pick and place machine that's designed to pick and place parts places the parts properly. Because from my experience, pick and place machine number 1, 2, 3, and 4, or number 2, obviously I never ran it, never reliably placed parts properly. So I was blown away that this does, but I shouldn't be, because that's what it's designed for. Honestly, it was just dead accurate, dead center on all the parts, no tweaking at all. Right, I don't have to go through every part and have a look and adjust. It just nailed every part, every time, no matter the size. But what's even more impressive, and this is why I've got a couple of boards here that I have to rework because I had to flip the part. So the machine, you when you got your feeders in there, you teach it. You basically tell it. You say, auto teach all your peak positions and heights. And it goes through every feeder and it works out where the pocket is, and it works out where the part is in every pocket. And then it does a height measurement on the part to know exactly where the pick position is. And then it can do a pick test and picks it up and measures the width, length, and height of the part, and then puts it back in the pocket, right? So you do that with all your feeders and all your parts for a job. And then when you run your board, you get zero flex on the board, right? It puts the part perfectly in the paste. You've got what's called a stroke value, where you can tell it how much into the paste you want to put it, but the default is like, it puts it literally halfway into your paste, and it puts it perfectly. And because of that, right, and that's what you want, it's incredible, right? I've had to do no leveling, tweaking, adjustments of any part, of any size, of any shape, or anything, right? But because of that, when I grabbed the QFN, for instance, the Pico D4, to pick it up to rotate it, as I picked it up, it picks up all the paste off the pads because it's in properly. It's not like sitting on, and it's not pushed down so far that the paste comes out the side. It's a perfect, it's got a gasket on it. It was incredible. So unfortunately, when I picked them up and rotated some of them, most of the paste came off with the part, and so there are pins that haven't been repasted properly as I rotated them. That's okay. So far there's only 3 out of 40 boards, and I knew there'd be some. So far I am like massively impressed. Like when this was running, right, this is a 0.8mm board. I've used no support underneath so far, right? So it's just sitting there clamped. Whoa. When you look at it placing, no matter the size of the part, there is zero flex on the board. Nothing. It knows exactly. When do you get to see it running? You're going to get to see it running on my first video. Look, I've taken stacks of videos since the video I took of the commissioning. I've got lots of video. I'm time poor when it comes to getting all this stuff together to get it out to you guys. I can either make a video about it all, about the whole process, or I can just leak bits and pieces. I'd rather get at least a commissioning video out first, because the size of the pallet it came on was insane. The size of the machine, it's just huge. It's a huge machine. Anyway, very happy. Now, speed. Speed varies based on how you optimize the board, and you can optimize it badly and you can optimize it well. And the difference on that right now is a coin toss, because I don't have enough of the... I've got the 8 heads, and I've got 8 of the small nozzles, the general purpose nozzles, which is fine. So it can pick and place 8 at a time. But I've only got 2 each of all the other size nozzles, which means when it's trying to optimize to do... Like, there are a lot of parts that use the larger nozzles. Everything from my crystals and the battery PMIC up to the QFNs and the USB and the buttons, whatever. Because I've only got 2 of each sizes, it can't really optimize properly, right? So it'll do a lot of parts where it'll only pick 2 parts at a time on an 8-head thing, because it's the optimal it can do, but it could be better with more nozzles. But the nozzles are really expensive. Had a good chat to the Super guys yesterday, to Heinz, who owns Super. Like, I just said to him, like, why are the Juki nozzles like so expensive? And he explained to me that I don't have one I can show you, but well, they're all in the machine. They are, like, when I say expensive, a nozzle for a Yamaha, like one of these. Actually, let me just show you. This is from my Need N8. This is a Yamaha nozzle. This is an 0402 nozzle. Okay. Oh my god, look how dirty my desk is. I'm sorry, I didn't even clean my desk before I did this. That is disgusting. One moment, I'm just gonna... No, that didn't really work. Anyway, there's a coffee stain. I had my mug. This is actually a Hanwha nozzle. And these are cheap. These are like $25 for an original nozzle. Or $30 US, $30 US. The problem with them is they're all plastic and they chip. So this one is actually chipped on the corner. I can't use it. Really hard to see. Don't know if I can zoom in at all. Maybe, will it focus? Maybe it's too close. No, it's too close. Anyway, there's a chip on it, on the end, so it can't be used. Right? The universal nozzles are about $37 US. The Juki nozzles are $380 US each. Yep, you heard me, $380 US each. So I said, why are they so expensive? So they're all ceramic tips, firstly. So there's no plastic. It's all completely ceramic tip. And they've got zero run out on them. I believe run out is the word, or is it? It's not backlash. So when the nozzle's rotating, right, like this nozzle, all of these nozzles, there's a slight wobble on them as they rotate. Hey Chris, how you doing? Where are you traveling? Okay, run out. So as it rotates, the center of it moves around, right? It's not perfectly straight. The Juki nozzles, they claim zero run out. And if you get a nozzle that doesn't have zero run out, they'll replace it. And so that's how it gets such accuracy, because there's no movement at all on the rotation of the nozzle. And so is the Audi. Hey Max, hey Flowrider. My ones don't have RFID tags. They're even more expensive. So I didn't know what I was going to get. They didn't quote me on the RFID tags because I don't have the part of the software that does all the audit tracking. So there's no point having RFID ones. But you can get RFID ones that so my machine can grab the nozzle and measure it and do all the things it needs to do with the nozzle. And do you get any sort of guarantee with the nozzles? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if if there's any run out on it, you get another nozzle. And what the machine does when it picks up from the pick and place from the nozzle tray, it can pick up and it measures everything about the nozzle. It measures the height of the nozzle, and it also measures the run out of the nozzle, and it can tell. And if it thinks that there's a nozzle that's got 0 run out, it'll move it out the way. Why does it need 0 run out if recognition after rotation? Because there's not recognition after rotation, and it's not rotation after recognition. That's not how these machines work. So there is no recognition through a camera. I can use that. That's for large parts like BGAs. It's all laser based. It's all on the fly laser. And I didn't understand how this works until I got the machine. And it is insane. So it picks up a part, yeah? And as it's moving the part back over, you got to remember this happens really fast. It is spinning the part around like crazy, right? And it's laser measuring the entire part the whole way until it gets to place it and puts it in its right position and puts it down. And that whole time it's moving, right? It is spinning the part around, insane with lasers, and you can actually see what they call it string art. You can do a pick test of a part to get its size, and you can look at the string art, the laser string art that it does, and there's a picture and it shows you all of the laser beams, right, hitting the part, and it shows you the leftover shape. I must have a picture of it somewhere. It's insane. Like I'm thinking to myself, how can it? I mean, this thing moves fast, right? Moves fast. How can it pick it and spin it and measure it and then place it and get it back to the right orientation and place it in such a short period of time? I don't understand it. It's like it happens way too fast. If I have a picture of the string art, it's going to be somewhere buried in a video somewhere. Sorry. It's insane. So, because of that, it needs to have 0 run out. Because when it's measuring it, if the part moves at all, it's going to get the size wrong. And it'll discard it. Or it'll place it wrong. It'll get the center and place it wrong. And the machine is constantly teaching itself. So every time it picks a part, I can turn this off or I can turn it on. When it picks a part, it can automatically reteach itself based on the feeder position, adjust the feeder, and reteach itself the part size and shape. And the reason that's important is because if I've got a reel of resistors, okay, 10,000 resistors, and every single resistor is a different shape, right? So they're all 0402, which is the spec is 1 millimeter by 0.5 millimeters in metric, right? But it's not. So if I go and pick 20 parts in a row and measure them, this thing can measure to 3 decimal places, which I don't know, what does that work out to? Is that a micron? Hey Easton, yeah, I'll get back to that. I'll share in a moment. I'm caught up on the whole Juki thing, right? So, how many 3 decimal places? Like millimeter, whatever it is, doesn't matter. That's how fine it can measure. And so every part it picks up is a slightly different size. And because of that, right, so 3 decimal places. Okay, so it's down to a micron it can measure. And so it adjusts on the fly for every variation in the part, including its height, right? So it can adjust its placement height, and it can adjust its position when it's placing it based on the size. Anyway, it's incredible, and it does it all super fast. So how fast is it? Last night we tweaked. I'm working on getting my first run of Tiny S3s going. I'll probably do that today. So a panel of Tiny S3s on my Neoden was running at about 16 minutes. Between 16 and 17 minutes to build a panel of Tiny S3s. That's 20 Tiny S3s. The Juki right now, without getting extra nozzles, and I'm going to be ordering some today, can do a panel in 4 minutes. So that's a bit over 4 times faster. And at the end of the day, it's not worth trying to get it that much faster. Like, I mean, if I went and spent thousands of dollars on nozzles, I might be able to get 4 minutes down to 3 minutes 20, 3 minutes 10. It's not worth it at that point. 4 times faster is already like massively significant, but it's 4 times faster with accurate placing every time, right? It's not 16 minutes on the Neodan and I have no idea what I'm going to get out of it, right? I don't know how much rework, I don't know how much stuff I have to change. It's so 980 parts in about just under 4 minutes, 3 minutes 50. What does that work out to? No errors. I've not seen one. I mean, I've only run 4 panels so far. I've actually run now. I ran 2 of these now. That's the first one. I've run 2 tiny Pico panels, 2 Nano S3 panels. I've not had one part that even remotely looked like it was in the right spot. I've only had a couple of reflow issues, and that's because I hand stenciled these. There's no point running the whole line. Well, I couldn't run it for the first few days because it was pulled apart. There's no point setting up the automatic stencil printer to run 1 or 2 panels of these. It would waste a whole bunch of paste, and it would take me 20 times longer than just hand. So I didn't have a right caddy for this. So I put it in a different caddy, which means I wasn't getting good gasket. So I got a bit of extra paste on my second board. There was 2 QFNs. I had to just get rid of some solder on the sides, but that was a pasting issue by me. Otherwise, it was just... I guess I think the most accurate CNC machines can... I guess the database transfer issues making the setup longer. No, that's all fixed, Bruce. There was all the database stuff set up now. The type of paste will make a difference, but not in terms of the pick and place machine. Just that's a reflow issue, not a pick and place issue. What's Sam going to do with all the spare time he's going to have? Be less stressed. This is not about me getting more spare time. It's about being less stressed. As I said to the guys yesterday, I used to come into work every day when I was running the Neodan, if I had a large production to do, or any production, and I never knew what I was going to get. I could turn the machine on and get great results today. I could turn the machine on and just have destroyed boards, and it was, there was a coin toss every time I ran the machine, and that was extremely stressful. How many parts lost on these runs? I think all up it discarded about 17 parts, so 980. So there's 700 parts per panel here. 900 on the tiny Pico, so that's 900, so 1800 and 1400, 20. Geez, what's that? 45? No. Oh my god, I can't count. 3,500 parts. I think it discarded about, I'm going to say about 17, but that's because I hadn't set up my, I hadn't turned on teaching on all the parts. And so there were some parts that it was grabbing, and I told it was 1 by 0.5, but it wasn't. And so it would keep picking until it got one that was in the right thing. So that was totally my fault. Other than that, there were on the second panel of this, there were a couple of antennas that weren't placed. 3 antennas. I had to manually put them back on. And I subsequently worked out what that was. In the feeder, 8mm. So the antennas they're in an 8mm feeder, but they're like 1.3mm high. There's a little metal like tongue that pushes up to like it's designed for the paper parts to make sure the parts at the top, right? And I was told I had to remove them for the plastic embossed tape if the part's too tall. And I did on some, and I didn't do it on all of them because I wanted to see what would happen. Turns out that if the part's thicker than like 0.5mm, you have to pull the tongue out. As soon as I pulled the tongue out on this, the antennas were going fine. So does it tell you why it discarded? It doesn't tell you, well, maybe. It logs everything. I haven't looked at the logs. No detection issues due to the slots in my panels at all, no, which is great. But I did make a mistake on these panels. I actually got the... so I resized this panel to make sure, to make it the same width as all my tiny boards. I've also done the same with my ProRes 3 now. I can't standardize all the width of my boards because some boards are just bigger, whatever. But for as many as I can, I'm trying to make them all the same width so I don't have to adjust the line all the time when I swap boards. And in doing so, when I did this, this is exactly the same width as my tiny boards, but I forgot to push the fiducials further away from the edge. It was my own fault. It was because I copied the old file from my Nano S3 panelizing, from my tiny Pico Nano panelizing. And so when the board comes in, slight edges of the fiducials are covered by the clamps. And so it does recognize them. What I had to do was make the rail as tight as possible to get the board in, so there was no play at all. Play on the machine is fine because once it grabs the fiducials, it cancels it out. But if there was any play in the conveyor, it could cover one of the corners of the fiducials and it wouldn't pick it up. So when I run my next set of these, I'll have to push the fiducials out away from the edge. It's my own fault. I knew what distance it had to be. I mean, you can see here how close I got it to the edge. It was so that's a fiducial there. You see how close it is to the actual top edge. It's supposed to be further in. Like even the hole is further in. Oh, you can't see the hole. There's a mounting stencil. There it is, right? Even the hole is further in. I forgot to move the fiducials in. So that's my own fault. It needed to be further away from the edge. And it's only covering the very corner of it, but it's a pain. But other than that, it's working great. Flowrider, yes, come a long way from the Charm High. I'm missing all this chat. If you know what you know now, would you still have started with the Neodan or gone directly to the Juki? I couldn't have afforded, or I still can't technically afford the Juki, but I couldn't have afforded the Juki back then. And I probably wouldn't have... It's one of those things. Look, the Neodan, I pumped out a lot of boards on the Neodan, right? As frustrating as it was, and let me tell you, it was frustrating, I still got work out of it, right? It wasn't a waste of money. It was just a mental... I was mentally at war with it the whole time I used it, right? So health-wise, it wasn't great for me, but it did actually get boards out, right? I don't know if I ever would have committed to a Juki had I not gone through the Neodan stage, because they're totally different class machines in terms of capabilities and price, right? So yeah, it's really hard to say, and I don't know. I don't think prior to getting the Neodan, I never would have justified buying a more expensive machine, because at that point I didn't know what type of production I'd be doing. So yeah. Paul Jovinator says, what solder paste do you use? I use it's an RMA flux based SAC 305 from AIM. You should be seen being able to pick and ship that many boards. Well, I don't need to build that many boards right now, so how many panels do I make I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you how many boards I've actually made in total. I don't know. I don't count. I've lost track. I stopped counting a long time ago. I can tell you that right now I'm not making many boards because things have really quietened down since everyone's cost of living's gone up, which is understandable. But I've got lots of new products to build, and I mean my Nano S3 panels have been here for a while, but I just refused to make them on the Neodan. So, and I'm glad I didn't, they've been waiting for the Juki. So I'm glad that these. We should. No logo. There's no any chat anything working. Quixotic Geek. Sorry. MQTT is broken in Python 11, or the version I'm using is broken. And cooperative was in Canada. Okay, let's talk about the Nano S3. So I'm gonna go back to here. I want to pull one apart. I want to try one, but while I'm doing that, I also want to let me grab a let's grab a Tiny Pico Nano. So that is my Tiny Pico Nano. I need more light. I wonder if I can. No. Okay. Let me. I want to see if I can. I'm going to move a light maybe to see if we can get things clearer. Whoa! Hit the wrong button. No. Yes. Is that clearer? No, not really. It's in my face though. Will that stay? I don't know if that'll stay. Why is that? I might have to turn some more lights on in here. I'm going to turn some more lights on. Did that help? A little bit? It's very let me get something else I can put underneath it so it's not so contrasty. Blue? No, that's gonna be terrible. What can I put underneath that will stop the contrast? I'm just wandering around the office, don't mind me. Maybe green, will green help? Let's see if green helps. A little bit, no? Kind of. Now you can green screen it, but it's still not. What's going on with my camera? Just doesn't. Well, that's gonna have to do. What? It's a bit better. Anyway, that's my Tiny Pico Nano. So that's Pico D4. That's like the Tiny Pico equivalent. And then here is my Nano S3. So I made them footprint compatible, which was a challenge because there's a lot more components on the Nano S3. So the Nano S3 is basically my tiny S3, but in a castellated board footprint. So you can see here there's three sides of castellated edges. Might be clearer to see from the back. So castellated pins here down the sides. So this is everything that the tiny S3 has. Right, you got 8 meg of flash, 8 meg of PS RAM. It's got an RGB LED, which the Tiny Pico Nano didn't have. It's got battery charging. It's got everything except the USB connector, right? There's a great affiliate link for CRI 95 plus small LED lights with variable temperature. I've actually got a couple of those on. Thanks, Michael. In my shopping cart on Amazon. The problem is I've got nowhere to mount them. So yeah, it's all in a module, so you can, put this down on a board, on a carrier board, and it gives you everything except for a USB connector, which you don't necessarily need if you're doing over the air or something else. And you'll see around. I need a pointy device. Get my tweezers. you'll see that there's all this silver bits around here, this solder. They are pads for an RF shield, which I've actually designed an RF shield. Here's a 3D printed version of the RF shield, but which does actually fit. It does actually fit on the board, but it's not something that I've looked at getting in metal yet or manufacturing yet. There's no point, excuse me, unless I decide to look at going down certification on them. Don't buy them myself, but they look really great. Add joking part. What? It doesn't. Well, the plastic won't shield anything. So that's obviously using an ESP32 S3, where that's only Pico D4, so it's got native USB, it's got all the blah 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 blah. Let's just pull one apart, shall we? Ready? Is that back in focus? So I changed the mouse bites on these, so they should actually be easier to separate. And I've got a tool for doing it, but I actually find that, at least for now anyway, that this is good enough. So I just have to sometimes clean some of the things off. So I'm just going to grab one of them. Here we go. So it's got like this, and the edges are fine. There it is, Nano S3. It is slightly longer, ever so slightly longer than the Tiny Pico Nano, but not where the pins are. Only just the PCB section goes a bit further back. So I had to have more clearance for the antenna. So this is fully matched, as you can see. Maybe you can see there's lots of components on there. There's 5 matching components using the new Johansen antennas that I'm using. So I don't even know if this is the right test jig. Let's just zoom this out. I don't know if it'll fit underneath. Is that on? Let me see if I can actually log into it and see if it's the right test jig. Would conductive PLA work as a shield? I have no idea. But you don't want to 3D printing them is terrible. The Wi-Fi is working great. So far, I guess. Okay, let me just okay. See if I can just connect to this machine. I can. Let's see if it recognizes the thing. Yep. Oh. Tiny Pico Nano. Did I try doing my Nano in that? Hold on one moment. Reset adapter. Is my Nano S3 in here? Yes! Woo! Okay. So now it should recognize this as, yep, now my Nano S3 adapter. So, this is in the way. Get out of the way. Now getting them in, so these are still the, oh look at that, pin's bent. When did I bend that? I've got new pins of these. These are using the Flexi Friends ones from Atiro, but they're too thin. They bend out of shape really easily. So I've actually got some new ones, but I haven't built a new adapter yet. So this might be painful to get in, but also might not be, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not looking over the top, so I can't really see what I'm doing. Let me stand up. So it shouldn't be this hard to get in, but they're really flexible. Too flexible. Okay, but I think that is in. Okay, what happened here? Did I, why is the screen turned off? Oh. Oh, I must have hit the I must have hit the off button when I was grabbing it. Okay. So it recognizes there's one there. I just need a cable, USB cable. No, I didn't blow it up. When I was holding it, that button there shuts it down. So I shut it down. Okay, so power's up. Yay! Found the board. Mounted it. So you can see the same lighting system. Copying. So it's copying CircuitPython on there. Okay, remounting. Now, this will fail the test, I think, because I haven't updated the test code. It's trying to test the same I/O that is on a Tiny S3, but this has got way more I/O broken out. So this might fail. I can't remember what I did. Yeah, so GPIO test. So I can show you here. Let me just switch screens so I can show you what the results were. Oh, that's interesting. That is not what's on my screen. Here we go. That was quite bizarre. OBS is just whatever. So you might be able to, let me just make it bigger. See how big I can make it so you can see it. So you can see here it's run and it connects to Wi-Fi. 4.42 seconds, and it goes through here, but it fails the GPIO test because I haven't set up how many pins it's supposed to be looking for and what their order is. Consider part number of the gold spring for castellated holes. I'm looking everywhere for these but couldn't find any. Thanks, Michael. That's the FlexiPin ones. Yeah, I would have to go and I don't even know where my other ones are. I'd have to find them and then go back. I don't remember where I bought them from. I think it could have been Element 14 I bought them from. I'm not sure. Excuse me. So I have to fix the whole GPIO thing there. But other than that, it passed. So, I mean, obviously testing the I/O is important, but it passed the battery test. It passed the VBus enable test. It passed the RAM test. So that's a work, and obviously the RGB LED was working. So that's really cool. This is also using an old version of CircuitPython, 803, and quite an old version of the bootloader. I think it's like on version 8, and they're up to 13 or 14 of TinyURF2. So I need to update that as well. So I'm just going to grab another one, and we'll see that. I can get it in. So I might end up actually redesigning these. Like with my Nano ones, they just plug right in. These are really painful to get in. But they're working. Oh, good night, Amory. Catch you later. What is the process of tuning the RF? It's it's a process. You need a VNA. In my case, I had to also use a spectrum analyzer because with the S3 there are harmonics that you need to suppress. What about pogo pins? Pogo pins won't work because the pads are on the side, not the bottom. So, and you need to test the castellations. So again, failed on the GPIO, but these boards are working, which is awesome. So as I hope they would. So the process is just back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, tweaking and tuning. I mean, you can do it in software and then hope that the results that you're changing there reflect on the board, but they don't. Because you can't take all the characteristics of the board into account when you just stick it into a an online calculator to work out what you need for your RF. Like it took me months to tune all my boards, and to come up with a kind of a set of components that worked across all the boards. Because what I didn't want to do is have, I mean, each of my boards, each of my S3 boards now have 5 unique matching components plus the antenna, and I didn't want to have 5 unique per board. I wanted to have 5 unique that worked on all the boards, because otherwise, firstly, they're very expensive components, the RF components. They're not standard caps or inductors, they're RF rated ones. And I didn't want to fill 40 feeder spots just with one-off components that only ever get used for one board. So I had to balance across all of my boards components that worked on all of them properly. It was a real effort. And of course I was playing with different antennas and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it took a lot to get my boards done over a long period of time. Excuse me. So the theory is that all of my S3 boards now are certifiable, but whether I end up doing that or not is beside the point. I don't think it makes any financial sense at the moment. Franco asks, are you still ordering PCBs through JLC? I am. And am I still having issues? Yes, I am. Not on every order, but, I'm still having issues, but it's just a balance. It's a balance of what they offer and their pricing and what issues I have and how painful that is and if it's worth it. And it is. Some financial tough times coming. My cousin is the CEO at JP Morgan. Another warning to family. Last time he did was for a few months. Yeah, I know things are... It seems like a terrible time for me to buy a Juki. I think it's going to be idle a lot over the next, 6 months or so. But, it's also a good time to be down. It's going to take me quite a while to get all my products back up. So, yeah, it's going to be quite painful for a lot of people around the world at the moment. And for the foreseeable future, with the cost of living going up and wages and stuff not matching. What's the difference between the modules from Espressif and yours? Oh, it's a lot more than the power supply. I mean, that is a complete microcontroller. Complete. Everything you need. Like that and... one moment. Oh my god. Do I not have a... Okay. So that and that are identical. I mean, that's an old antenna. That and that are identical except for the USB connector. So where with an Espressif module, it's just the chip. There's nothing else. Oh, there's also, sorry, there's no buttons. Obviously there's no buttons on this. You'll need to connect up an IO0 and a reset button if you need that functionality. But it's got, firstly you can't get a module, well you can get a room module that's got enough flash and PS RAM, but they're huge. But like the mini modules, like this one here, so if you look at the size of that mini module and you look at mine, is that for a size measurement, right? That's got nothing in it. That's got 8 mega flash, no PS RAM. You can get one with 4 mega flash and 2 mega PS RAM, but that's it. So that's got 8 and 8, 4 and 2. It's got a crystal in it, and that's it. Nothing else, right? So this has got battery charging. It's got, obviously, the 3.3 volt LDO. It's got, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. They're two totally different things. Like, that there needs all of this here on the side to make it the same as this. And you have to implement all of that yourself, or you just drop this on the board. And all you do is, if you want a USB connector, you put that down with two 5.1K resistors if you're going to use USB-C. Otherwise, if it's a micro B, just put the micro B USB connector on. So, yep. Okay, I have no idea what I was talking about. The S3, yeah. The S3 harmonics are suppressed on all the Espressif modules, yes. Otherwise they wouldn't get them certified. It was, yeah, it was quite difficult to route. I mean, it's a 4-layer board, but as you can see, it's quite packed. There is not a lot of space on here to fit much else. I mean, I can now go down in size on the Juki, but down in size of components wouldn't really help me much here. So, I mean, it's an interesting balance. So I could have made this easier to make by having it cost more. So right now I'm using the S3 chip with 8 mega flash in it, and here's 8 mega PS RAM. I could have used, that's what I use on my tiny S3 and whatever, right? And I use this PS RAM on all my other boards. But I could have used a chip with 8 meg of PS RAM inside, and I could have got 8 mega flash that's smaller than that. Where is my... Okay, so I don't know, whoops, I just dropped my light. Where did I put my tiny C3? I've got so much stuff on my desk, it's not funny. I really need to do a cleanup one day. Here. Okay. So that's my tiny C6 board, which I haven't gone into production yet. So that there is 8 mega flash, which is smaller than the PS RAM. Excuse me. So I could have done an S3 chip with 8 mega of PS RAM, 8 mega flash here, and save some space. I can also get a smaller PMIC and some other things. The problem is, it would make the board $2 or $3 more expensive, because I buy thousands and thousands and thousands of these chips at a time. If I switched over to the other ones, I wouldn't be buying as many, which means the cost per part goes up, right? I buy, 12,000 or 15,000 PS RAM chips at a time. If I was buying these flash chips, I'd only be buying 1,000 at a time. The cost of them would go up, right? So the decision was to use the same parts that I'm using on the S3, so my BOM cost gets shared across all the products and therefore goes down in price. So I could have made my life a little bit easier had I changed a bunch of parts, but it just wasn't worth it. At some point, I got to work out what the best balance, between saving BOM cost, saving space, difficulty of manufacturing, and difficulty of keeping everything else in stock. You can run the Linux kernel. I don't know if you can run it on the S3 variant. I think they've only got it working on just the regular ESP32 at the moment. But technically, yes, some people got the Linux kernel working on the ESP32. I don't know what you do with it, but it has happened. So, which is pretty cool. Good on them for doing it. Yeah. So that's my Nano S3. I still have a bit to do. I finished the card artwork. I haven't got them printing yet. Hey, Wagon Loads. I haven't printed them yet. I haven't done any of the website stuff yet. I haven't got my product online yet on the store. That'll all be happening over the next few weeks, I guess. I don't know when. Are the shields really necessary? Because why aren't they on the other S3 boards? What? Wait. You mean the RF shield? On a module, the RF shield is necessary. Well, you can't certify a module unless it's got a shield on it. Correct. Like if you look at all the expressive, like any module that you buy with certification has a shield on it. Has to be. I couldn't put my Nano through certification if there was no shield on it. Finding reason they got Linux to boot on SP32 with very little RAM, and yet the latest Ubuntu needs gigs of RAM. Yeah, not quite the same. But yeah. You can design your next board to use the preferred parts for this board. No, because I'm still then splitting off. Like the PS RAM, for instance, gets used on all my boards. So if I was to not use the PS RAM on that and switch it around, yeah, I don't want to be redesigning all my boards. We'll see. Like I don't know. In this economic climate, who knows what's going to happen? So I could be making nothing for a while, or I could be moving on to a different MCU. I don't know. Yeah, it's quite windy outside, and my garage door was banging. And so when we opened it the other day to get the Juki in, all of the things that stopped from shaking came out, and I can't get them back in right now because that whole area is covered with pallets and like I'm packing up the net end stuff, and so there's just feeders on pallets. I can't get in there to get up on a ladder to put them back in, unfortunately. Sorry. So I've been living with the noise. Hey Pat, so on any of your UK delivery, seems some on Mauser. Oh, forget Mauser, whatever. Yeah, Primaroni stock all my stuff, except I think they're out of all my S3 boards at the moment. So I assume at some point they'll reorder. When's my first SBC? I'm not interested in making an SBC. That's out of my wheelhouse completely. I mean, I'm just getting into FPGA stuff. I don't know what I mentioned last week. Did I mention that my Blizzard S3 is going to be on Crowd Supply? Well, if I did or didn't, I think I mentioned I submitted it, but it's been approved. So there's going to be a crowdfunding campaign on Crowd Supply for my Blizzard S3 board, which is exciting. And my latest revision, which was supposed to have been here yesterday, that I was going to build on stream today, is coming tomorrow. It was a 5 to 6 day manufacturing at JLC, and they took 9 days to make it. I don't know why. It was just 5 boards, 5 very expensive boards. So that is. I'll catch you later, Dave. What is the Blizzard board? Oh, I don't even have a one here to show you, but I can show you this. It is my first FPGA board. It's a hybrid FPGA board. It's quite exciting. I think it's quite exciting. It is this. Nope. It is this board here. So it is an ESP, it's a tiny S3 here and an FPGA here, but they are interconnected. So I'm not the first person to do this, but yeah. What UPS shipping them? So no, DHL. No, it wasn't a shipping thing. It was a JLC thing. It just took them 9 days to make the boards, so they only shipped like 2 days ago. They should have shipped like 5 days ago, and they would have been here already. So thanks, Eric. So it's really small. Like it's the size of my Pro S3. It's a tiny bit longer. That was Siri downstairs talking to me. It's just a bit longer than my Pro S3, and it's it's really small. It's it's the smallest hybrid board that I know of. So 8 meg of flash, 8 meg of PS RAM on the S3 side, and then you've got the Ice 40, and then on the back you can actually add. There's footprints on the back. You can actually add your own PS RAM on the back, or I guess technically flash if you want to. But you can add extra PS RAM on the back. So yeah, it's using the Ice 40 up 5K. Backing one of these Blizzard board on the crowd thing. What's the shipping to Europe likely going to be? They've got a fixed fee, which is I think it's $18 US to. Well, actually, you might not be able to buy it in Europe from crowd supply. There might not be any access to Europe through the crowdfunding campaign because of Mauser and because of the whole CE thing. They'll probably restrict backing it. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm firstly would not be going through certification on a board like this. It would be horrifically expensive. So Mauser own crowd supply. Mauser do all the fulfillment. So when you back stuff, and then when the orders, so when someone does a crowdfunding campaign with crowd supply, and then the campaign's over, the person whose campaign it is, they ship all the product to crowd supply, which then get distributed to Mauser, and Mauser do all the fulfillment around the world. And if Mauser have a restriction on a part going to a region, then that region is blocked off from the crowdfunding campaign. So it's a bit frustrating, but that's okay. And once the campaign's finished, you'll be able to buy them off me in Europe, or maybe places like Primaroni will stock it. I don't know. So you'll be able to buy it from Europe through them. Excuse me. There's not really much I can do about it on a campaign. I mean, this board is not going to forget about the whole what happened with Tiny Pico. This board is not going to do that many units. Even if it does 1,000 units, it's still not worthwhile. Like, the cost of certification would make it hugely expensive. Yeah, they restrict all private. Yeah, you can do business to business. Because technically it's illegal to sell anything in Europe that doesn't, to a consumer that isn't CE certified. So Mauser do this so they don't put themselves in legal situations where the EU can go after them. The fact is no one in the EU is really caring, but Mauser say they're doing their due diligence, they're doing the right thing. If they're not certified to be sold in Europe, then we can't ship them to Europe. Sorry. I can't even buy my own products on Mauser and ship them to Australia. No. Only things that are not certified for them to sell to an end user. Yep. And this happened about 18 months ago, I think. Can the Blizzard board work as a Hippie wireless interface? Well, yeah, it's a full ESP32S3. So the Blizzard board is an S3 board first with like an FPGA add-on, which is kind of different to how a lot of the hybrid boards are. Most hybrid FPGA boards are an FPGA board with another microcontroller. I mean, there are some other boards out there that kind of do it this way, but they're not ESP based. They're like RP2040 based or something else, so they've got no wireless or whatever else. So they're not new CE, just to be clear, they're not new CE rules. The rules have always been there, but no one cared, and the EU never said anything about them. But a little while ago, there was this whole hoo-ha, and the EU, whoever the people are at the EU that police this, turned around and said, as of blah blah date, we are going to start enforcing these rules, right? They're not new rules. We're just going to start enforcing them. And so everyone started panicking and thinking they're going to get sued. And so countries that were selling Blase into Europe, especially a company like Mauser, which is massive, they can't afford a legal battle if the EU come after them. Like, that would be horrific. So they started putting things in place to make sure they don't breach any of the rules. But the rules have always been there. They're not new. China sold lots of stuff, and China were also marking all their products CE. China export. Very confusing, whatever. So, anyway, Wagon Lows, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do on the S3 side, and then do whatever you want to do on the FPGA side, which you program via the ESP32, and then you can communicate with them. Excuse me, Michael's got like SPI, host and client stuff working for communicating between the two, plus some other stuff. It's really cool. So I don't know when I'm launching this. I'm not in a hurry. I've got lots of other things to do right now, but I'm progressing on it. I've got my new boards coming, as I said, a couple of days, but I'm already working on a slightly different revision. Hey, Tinkering Tech. So this version has got 3 LEDs. There's a red LED here, a blue, and a green. I've actually found little tiny LEDs, not addressable ones, I've already got those, but really tiny common anode ones. So these are hooked up to a to special LED pins on the FPGA. I've redesigned the board to use a little tiny LED. It's about this big. That's an RGB LED. So instead of having 3 individual LEDs, but I'm not sure I want to keep that. It's the communication regulators like Comridge here in Ireland. I don't know who it is, but whoever they are, it's whatever. Like, it's yeah. So I don't know if one little tiny RGB LED is going to look nicer than having 3 individual ones that you could you can still control the RGB LED individually, like the channels, but if you wanted to flash the red one for an error and have the blue one be a status, you couldn't do that because you'd end up with purple flashing, right? Which is a different result to having 3 individual colors. So I don't know. I haven't decided, but I haven't got it manufactured, but I've made a new design anyway, joining those 3 together. So I'll have to think about that. Yeah, so that's my Blizzard board. Building CircuitPython changed today, in case I didn't know. I didn't know. How did it change? What happened? Uh-oh. What have they done? Have they removed the IDF from inside it? So you use a separate IDF now? Like the 5 branch? Is that what they've done? Is there a blog post or something? I was going to build new CircuitPython for the Nano today. So maybe I should have done it yesterday. Oh. They changed something about... Oh no! I hate submodules. Hey Sid, you like 3 separate... Announced in Discord just now. Okay, I'll have a look. Yeah, I think 3 separate LEDs is more versatile. Now you can fetch only... Oh, that's awesome. So when I tell it to fetch submodules, it doesn't download all the shit I don't need? Oh, that's awesome. Okay. That I like. That's a great change. Yay. Okay. Just out, may not work. So you don't pull in some 5 gigabyte. Right. all that Raspberry Pi stuff that they were doing, the bare metal Raspberry Pi stuff, and the RP40. Like, it's just, I hate it every time I need to update CircuitPython. Like, pull the latest. Oh, it takes forever, and then all those submodules are busted, and then re-grabbing them all again. Yeah, so I'm glad that they've done that. That's really cool. Excellent. I've broken my SIM port as I keep changing submodules. Yeah, sometimes I kill my whole CircuitPython and re-grab it from scratch because it's massive now and crazy. Okay, so I'm going to get back to the Juki. Yeah. I'm probably not going to run any more nanos yet. I'm probably not going to be able to get these up on the store for another week or so. I need to get back up in manufacturing again. There's a make delete submodules or something that just deletes everything. Can't you just delete? No, you can't. Cool. Okay, I will try to get this first video edited as soon as possible and get it on my channel. It's going to take me days to edit and go through all the video, and I just don't have days right now, but I'll get it done as soon as I can. I promise to get it done, not when. And then once that's up there, then I'm quite happy to start posting short snippety things of the machine going more regularly. But I don't want to do that before I've done the commissioning video. Yep. Catch you later, Max. And my need-in is leaving here on the 20th, 22nd, or the week of the 20th. I'm currently packing all of the Neoden feeders into the Juki feeder boxes, which is cool, and putting them on the Juki pallet that the feeders came on. So that worked out quite well. Oh, you're going as well, Andy? Yep, I'm going to go as well. It's Juki time. Thank you all for watching. Excited about this. But as I said, I need to update TinyURF2. I need to update CircuitPython, rebuild, get the latest on there, and then update the testing code to test all the I/O properly before I'm 100% satisfied that everything's okay. And then I'll have 40 of them ready, and I'll do another run and get them on my store at some point. And I haven't ordered panels of these yet, but I will now that the Juki's up. But I have ordered new panels of my Reflow Master Pros, and I did go the hybrid version. I didn't go the full SMT version. I went the hybrid, and panels are being manufactured at the moment. So that's also exciting, because I've got 6 Reflow Master Pros left, and then I'm out. So no panels. So I need to, yep. Hey, Chitty Kid. And hello, Alex. I don't think I said hi to you both. Now I'm saying bye. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully I'll have all my logo and stuff fixed next week. And, yeah. Have a great week, everyone. Catch you later. Juki time. Bye.